So from October 2022, that is when I started, till June 2023, so a total of 8 months, I was only able to acquire 5,000 followers. Hello Tribal Fam and welcome back. So last week we were talking about sex. I'm gonna link it up here for anyone who missed it. And this week I decided to talk about growth. About growth in numbers, to be more specific on how to grow on Instagram. Because I remember not too long ago when I was on the other side of the screen searching for answers on how to grow. And at some point it all just seemed really repetitive. So yeah, I thought, okay, you know what? Let me put it together. Let me think through how actually the steps were to achieving my growth, and also what was new for me, what nobody ever mentioned. And yeah, maybe that helps you. So let's get right into it. So from October 2022, that is when I started, till June 2023, so a total of 8 months, I was only able to acquire 5,000 followers. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate it to the fullest. This is also when I've worked the hardest. Like, I was working my butt off, yeah? Let's just put it out that way. But a total of 8 months and only 5,000 followers, although I was posting regularly. And the most painful part, I was also losing a lot of followers in the beginning. Because, you know, when you just start, you have like randoms who are following you, like from, I don't know, people that you know from back in the day, from school, or I don't know, former workplaces. And they will just get annoyed when they see you showing up regularly. Don't ask me why, but they will just get annoyed and unfollow you. So this is the reality of it, and prepare yourself that when you start to walk on your path, that you will lose at first. Maybe just try to see it as a test. So for me, I'm a spiritual girl. So maybe just try to think that way. Okay, the universe is trying to see how willing are you. Are you even going if nobody is like willing to stick on your side? Okay, so this is test number 1. Listen up. By the end of December 2023, so only 6 months later, I was up to 90K followers. 90,000 people who decided to click on the follow button. 90,000. So 8 months, 5,000, no growth, almost no growth. And then 6 months later, crazy growth, insane growth. So it is all possible and reachable. Okay? All right. This is exactly what I want to share with you today. Like, how did I get there? From 5 to 90, like, make it make sense. So I made it there by trusting myself, okay? When all the numbers drop and you just know you have a message that has to be heard, when you think you have what it takes to get to where you want, then you really got to stick to that. You really got to just trust yourself. So this is the time where doubt is trying to like convince your mind that you're maybe not good enough to receive whatever it is that you want to receive. But use this time where kind of like just little people are watching you to actually perfectionate your skill and task and your talent. Just use this time to like grind and just try to improve yourself as much as you can. Because that is actually also exactly where the beauty lies, right? The beauty lies in creating. That's actually like, if you are a creator, if you're thriving to be a content creator, then this should be where you get the joy from creating. So, and therefore it doesn't necessarily matter how many people are watching, because eventually your content is gonna get so good that so many people gonna watch it anyways, but the joy always comes from creating. So remember that in hard times, that actually brings you joy to create, and this is why you're doing it. Because often we get lost in the numbers, although the numbers do not define us. Another eye-opener for me was that the growth isn't linear. It's not like, okay, 1 month you're gonna get 2,000 followers, next month you have 4,000, 6,000, 7,000. No, it's not linear. It's rather exponential, okay? So that means at some point you're just gonna hit the peak and it's just gonna dribble, I don't know the numbers, but it's just gonna multiply and multiply, okay? But like, as I said, first 8 months, 5,000 followers, and then after that, it went just like, how did it go? Yeah, in October I hit 50K, and then it was slow growth. Like I would say from October till December, beginning of December, I had close to 60,000 followers, okay? But then December was crazy. So I think I was able to grow 30,000 followers within 3 days, okay? And it's all about when the video goes viral. And this brings me to the next point. Your page has to be ready before the video even goes viral, okay? Okay? So what do I mean by that? From my perspective, I think you have about 5 seconds until a potential follower decides if they want to stick around or not. So that means your bio, the little thing up on your account, has to be super precise about what you're doing. What do you stand for? What can the follower expect when he is going through your page, or she, because we do want a gender. And then once they actually take the time to scroll, your feed has to match the description. Is like, were you lying to them, or are you really saying who you are, you know? Like, is the follower gonna know what he's gonna receive? So that means it has to be clear what you stand for, okay? And so now what I think what helped me the most with growing organically in a rather short amount of time is that people were willing to repost my content in their stories. And now this is a big game changer, because then their audience is more likely to listen to me. Because if your friend has someone in their story, you're like, okay, actually let me listen what this person has to borrow, because otherwise my friend, my bestie, wouldn't repost this in their own private story, you know? So, and therefore I feel like this is the best performing time, when people actually are willing to put your piece of content in their own stories. So that means you want to create stories that hold so much value that they're actually being reposted. Because I don't necessarily think that the algorithm was on my side. I mean, eventually it had to kind of bend down and just gave in and then pushed it out even more. But I think I would have waited forever if I would have just tried to figure out the algorithm and make my content according to whatever the algorithm is saying. It's rather bet on the humans, bet on the people. Is your content something that you would repost? Yes or no? That's for you to answer. Let's sum it up. The beginning is going to be tough, but the beginning is always the hardest. And I feel like, you know, when you are preparing for studies or stuff like that, nobody's ever saying, oh, why are you not getting paid for your studies? It's clear that you're gonna spend years on studying, and then eventually you find a job that's fitting, hopefully, fingers crossed, okay? So the same goes for content creation. Don't go in there expecting, I don't know, big racks, big cash after 5 weeks of doing content. No, that's not how it works. Everything takes time, and through time, evolvement happens, and then we can talk about the numbers. But you always got to do one thing at a time. So maybe try to see it more as if the reason for you to do this is because you want this money, then really give yourself time to actually perfectionate your craft. My number 2 tips are: find beauty in your own improvement, and ask yourself, would you be willing to repost your own content? If you keep these 2 things in mind and continue pushing through, then time will definitely show you that it pays off. With that said, get creative. Also, come up with the posting schedule and post regularly, but that's nothing new. That's why that's just on the side. So I did mention it, okay? Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of my YouTube journey. I'm still in the process of figuring out how to grow on this platform, but I'm positive that in the future, I'm able to tell you how to grow on YouTube. So you heard it here first. Make sure you subscribe already, and I see you around. As always, much love.